So when it comes to signs and symptoms of dis-ease management, what does treating the root mean? Think of the root of a tree and its branches. Think of the branches as manifestations, such as like coughing or wheezing or upset stomach or headache or anxiety. And think of the root as the cause to those problems. The focus of Chinese medicine is to get to the roots so that the branches that develop are beneficial ones, not troublesome ones. And for starters, the principle of diagnosis in Chinese medicine focuses on the 8 principles of syndrome differentiation, targeting the location, the nature, the strength or weakness, and the disease category of the ailments. Location, you're going to determine whether it's an exterior or an interior disorder. The nature, is it a hot one or a cold one? And that's energetically. The strength or weakness is it a result of an excess or deficiency? An excess being something that's coming from the outside, or a buildup of something that's not being processed on the inside. Deficiency is you're weak in some area, therefore you can't function properly and you kind of lull down. Disease category, yang or yin, that takes a bit more in-depth explanation, as simple as it sounds. However, moving on. 6 evil pathogens, they're called: wind, cold, heat, damp, dryness, summer heat. Those are basically exterior factors that infiltrate the body in some way. It sounds simple, it's more complicated than that. It can be, but this is simple terms. 5 fundamental substances of your body. Are you in full storage and function with these 5 fundamental substances of your qi, your energy, your function, your shui, your blood levels, your jing, your essence, like your reproductive fluids, sperm, cerebrospinal fluid, those precious fluids, your jinya, your body fluids, the extracellular, intracellular fluids, your shun, your spirit, that consciousness aspect of yourself. Fundamental substances we want up. 5 zong, or the internal, and 6 fu, the more external organs that deal with like the matter. The internal deals with more the processing of finite substances. So internal, external. Not external outside of the body, but more deal with the material matter. So internal liver, external gallbladder, heart, small intestine, spleen, large intestine, kidneys, urinary bladder, and an additional one in Chinese medicine is called the triple warmer, and these are basically a lower, middle, and upper warmer that deals with the process of water movement throughout the body, respiration, digestion, urinary function, just in simple terms. 12 primary channels and the extraordinary vessels, that's dealing with the energetic anatomy of the meridians or channels throughout the body where the acupuncture points are located. So getting back to this root and branch issue, imagine or recall a time in your life when you've had a headache. Did you just take Tylenol and that was it? Boom. Okay, headache returns. Tylenol again, 1 year goes by, 2 years go by, never addressing why it's happening, you know. And this goes beyond just getting like an MRI to see if you've, you know, have issues going on. This can be done in daily life when you know how to see things from the traditional Chinese medicine perspective. So a branch symptom could be a headache. There could be one or a combination of roots that are causing that. So we want to get to the root. What are examples of roots problems that could cause branch headache issues? Exterior wind cold, exterior wind heat, exterior wind damp, kidney essence deficiency, blood deficiency of, you know, liver, heart, blood deficiency. It's more complicated than that, but this is just a introduction. Another branch, liver yang uprising, phlegm turbidity, blood stasis. And we look at the signs and symptoms and complaints in order to detect the syndrome pattern of which are most appropriate. So say like a liver yang uprising headache would be like stressed out, and you're holding it in, and it's shooting up internally, and it's causing like a pressurized tension type of headache, versus something like a kidney essence deficiency headache, which would be like, you know, dull, weak, mild ache instead of like pressurized. And each of these branches has a different combination of signs and symptoms. Moving on to another branch, say anxiety, like a mental emotional disorder of anxiety. The roots that could be causing the anxiety: deficiency of blood of the heart or the liver, deficiency of yin fluid, liver yin deficiency, heart yin deficiency, kidney yin deficiency, with or without empty heat. Again, too complex to explain in this introductory video. Qi stagnation leading to anxiety, blood stasis, heat, phlegm heat. So you don't want to just treat anxiety branch with some, you know, weak treatment that maybe temporarily alleviates the anxiety, but doesn't address why the person is experiencing anxiety. We want to get to the root so that somebody doesn't have to keep relying on these branch type treatments for the rest of their life, and thereby having a better quality of life instead of always having this thing in the background. Another example, acid regurgitation. Okay, the roots for the branch symptom of acid regurgitation could be liver qi stagnation, possibly turning to fire, overacting on the stomach, or spleen stomach yang deficiency with empty cold. So say it was acid regurgitation from liver qi stagnation that turns to fire, overacting on stomach. How would we treat that? The treatment would be different than acid regurgitation derived from spleen stomach yang deficiency. In the liver qi stagnation one, we want to move the liver qi, release the tension, ease that pent-up fire that's burning and attacking the stomach and causing the acidic fluids to rise upward. Spleen and stomach yang deficiency, we're going to want to strengthen the yang, warm the yang, and that would alleviate the empty cold that manifests as poor digestive function. Instead of just taking something to reduce the expression of the symptom every time you get it, anytime you eat some tomatoes or whatever. Irritability and anger as a branch. The roots: qi stagnation, liver qi stagnation, lung qi stagnation. blood stasis, liver blood stasis, heart blood stasis, liver yang rising, liver fire, heart fire, lung heat, stomach heat. All these roots can be leading to this frustration, irritability, anger that just becomes a part of somebody's life, and they just have to constantly cope with it. You want to get to the bottom of it so that you don't always have to live with this type of sign and symptom, okay? That's what getting to the root is, okay? These are just examples, but it's like in a garden, you can't just clip the weed that's ruining the beauty of the garden. You can't just clip the top. You have to like dig deep and get to the root. So that's what is meant by treat the root of the problem, and it's fundamental to traditional Chinese medicine, and it should be fundamental for anybody who really wants to heal. Yeah, introductory video. All these expressions translated from Chinese to English may sound strange at first, but they're with study and familiarity, it makes more sense. Like, what is spleen, stomach, yang deficiency with empty, cold? It makes sense after studying it for a while, but it sounds foreign and unfamiliar to people who haven't studied it. Interesting stuff. Treat the root of the problem. Don't just continue to mitigate symptoms and hope that they'll not return.